All right, we're looking at polarization. Nataka in Karnataka now reaching its peak. Communal tensions there continue to hamper harmony in the state. We're looking at members of the Sri Ram Sene in the latest who've attacked Muslim fruit vendors, all who were present outside the Hanuman temple in Dharwad. Many of the Sri Ram Sene members came by, literally vandalized the fruit stalls, threw all the fruits right to the streets on the ground, right outside the Dharwad temple. Now, we're looking at the police allegedly who were present there at that moment. Many of them have been accused of not acting at the spot. In fact, when the attack took place on many of those vendors, the police stood as bystanders. These are allegations coming in from Karnataka, those who saw and witnessed the incident unfold. Meanwhile, we're looking at the leader of opposition, Siddaramaiah, who's slamming the BJP government over this issue. Siddaramaiah, taking a jibe at Chief Minister Bommai, says that he should get all the goons of Sri Ram Sene kicked into jail for vandalizing the shops of Muslim traders in Dharwad. And if he's incapable of doing so, then he must resign as the Karnataka Chief Minister for the benefit of Karnataka. Former Karnataka Chief Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy, meanwhile, through his party, has now given about 10,000 rupees to those shop owners whose stalls were vandalized by the Sri Ram Sene. Now, this comes, meanwhile, when reports of attacks and stone pelting were reported during a Sri Ram Navami yatra, a 15-kilometer long yatra, a procession for Ram Navami that was organized in Mulbagal area in Kolar district. Some miscreants there allegedly threw stones at some of those people who were carrying out that procession. And we saw people during that yatra retaliating to the stone pelting, which eventually led to massive chaos. And some of those bikes and even one car was torched. An automobile shop was pelted at. That area was vandalized. Now, these are scenes that we see, unfortunately, in Karnataka that unfold barely 11 months away from elections in the state.
ಸರ್ಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಈ ನಾಡಿನ ಸರ್ವ ಜನಾಂಗದ ಶಾಂತಿಯ ತೋಟವನ್ನು ಉಳಿಸಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದಿದ್ರೆ ಇಂಥ ಒಂದು ಸಮಾಜಘಾತಕ ಯುವಕರ ಮೇಲೆ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಕ್ರಮ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಸೂಚನೆ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು. ಇದನ್ನ ಬಹಳ ಖಂಡತುಂಡವಾಗಿ ಹೇಳ್ತೇನೆ. ಯಾವುದೇ ಸಮಾಜ ಇರಲಿ, ಈ ರೀತಿಯ ವಾತಾವರಣವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಅದು ಹಿಂದೂ ಸಮಾಜ ಇರಬಹುದು, ಮುಸಲ್ಮಾನ್ ಸಮಾಜ ಇರಬಹುದು, ಮತ್ತಿನ್ಯಾವುದೇ ಸಂಘಟನೆಗಳಿರಬಹುದು, ಇಂಥ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಠಿಣವಾದ ಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ಸರ್ಕಾರ ತೆಗೆದುಕೋಬೇಕಾದಂಥದ್ದು ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಕರ್ತವ್ಯ ಇದೆ.
What is the situation right now and what happened yesterday?
So yesterday when the procession was at its fag end, when we were supposed to cross the main arch, so suddenly the power went off. Okay. So some people from ground, which is adjacent to this procession road, have thrown 3-4 stones on the procession. So in retaliation, the people who were in procession have also thrown the dried coconut fruits. In that, 3 car wind fans have been damaged. That's one incident. When our people initiated Ladi charge, so people started running towards from the town. While going back, they have torched 2 two-wheelers. Okay. And they've also pelted stones on one automobile shop. So the glasses have been damaged. So with this respect, we have registered 3 criminal cases in Mulbagal town. 3 cases registered on unknown people. So 2 cases for burning the vehicles and 1 for damaging the window panes of the automobile shop. So now the situation is peaceful and we have imposed 144 for 48 hours.
All right, let me quickly cut across to Nolan Pinto, who's been covering all the details coming in from different parts of Karnataka. Nolan, what we saw in Dharwad, where Muslim vendors and their fruits were taken, thrown, thrashed to the ground. And then what we saw in Kolar as well, where we saw some stone pelting that took place, miscreants there pelting at the yatra, the Ram Navami yatra that was under procession. This really leads us to believe that this is almost playing out like a script. Right ahead of elections in Karnataka, we're seeing cases of communal in nature, and doesn't seem like the police there acting strongly, and even the Home Minister has been accused of instigating communal disharmony instead of controlling and containing it at this point.
Well, Nabila, over the past few weeks, so in the past 1 month or so, we have seen a lot of fringe elements belonging to especially the Hindutva groups running havoc in the state of Karnataka. Now, the opposition is very clearly asking as to why the government is not taking action against any of these fringe elements. Be it from the halal controversy to actually sending out pamphlets banning Muslim vendors, from keeping shops or opening shops near temples, then asking people not to buy fruits sold by Muslims, and now finally what happened in Kolar and also in Dharwad. In fact, the information we are getting is that for the past few days in Dharwad specifically, the Sri Ram Sene went and met the temple committee, asking them to remove non-Hindu vendors away from there. But when the temple committee did not do that, Saturday evening, they went and ransacked non-Hindu vendors. In fact, one of the individuals over there, whose watermelons can be seen strewn everywhere, has been selling fruits outside the temple, not inside, outside the temple for the past 15 years. So he's not new. He's been there with the permission of the temple authorities. So, and in the video also, Nabila, like you rightly stated, the constable is there, the police are there, no action is being taken, and that is why former Chief Minister Siddaramaiah is actually asking, Bomma, if you have lost control or if you have actually contracted the work of law and order to fringe elements, then you better step down.
And that's the question here. There are several fringe element groups which have now suddenly taken birth in many different parts of Karnataka, exactly 11 months ahead of elections. And that raises a lot of questions on of course, those who are responsible to maintain security and law and order, on whether they're doing a decent job or not. Polarization to this extent in Karnataka, we've seldom seen. I'm from Karnataka, a state myself, and this is highly embarrassing and absolutely unfortunate that we're seeing those from the marginalized sections who are currently bearing the victim of this kind of politics that's brewing. But Nolan, I'm going to come back to you on a very important story of a murder case that also took place, which again was mishandled, and a communal color was tried to be given to that. I'll come to you on that, but let me cut across to Aishwarya Mahadev, who's a Congress spokesperson, joining us along with Mohan Krishna, BJP spokesperson. Mr. Krishna, let me start with you first. It's highly unfortunate that under your government or your governance, we're seeing this kind of attacks, communal attacks that are now coming to forward, which we've barely seen to this extent in the last several years or decades in Karnataka's history. Very surprising that we see many of the Hindu fringe groups that are now unleashing terror in different parts, attacking Muslim vendors, asking for an open boycott of Muslim traders, asking for a ban on halal meat. One after the other, it almost looks like you're playing to a script ahead of elections.
Good evening, Nabila. Well, yesterday also we have discussed this issue, and I would like to reiterate certain things here. You were there in Udupi.
Yes.
I was on your show, and with the hijab issue. You have seen how things were handled by then and how things are gone after that. After hijab issue, the opposition who has instigated those students made the issue big one. Siddaramaiah gave a statement, it is a fundamental right.
But the question here is,
I will come to that.
I just want to know, how is hijab issue linked to boycott of Muslim traders?
No, let me come to the point, please. I am coming chronologically.
No, since you made that point, all right, go on.
After hijab issue, when the High Court order came, there was a certain minority group. They made the Bandh in Karnataka. You know that very well. On grounds of that High Court has given a verdict against their personal choice. Now, after that, series of incidents has happened. In that, the fringe elements have taken charge of all these issues. But it's very unfortunate, and fortunately for us, the government, the law of the land, and the government, the law and order, we have made sure that none of these people are instigated by the BJP or our government. There is no order.
Sir, if the BJP is so concerned on not instigating the matter further, let me cut across to this one story that I'd like to highlight here before I get to Aishwarya Mahadev. This is another case. Let me take you through. Here, a case of murder was reported that could have easily turned communal. 22-year-old Simon Raj, aka Chandru, he was killed by accused Shahid near Mysore Road on the 5th of April, and your Home Minister Araga Gyanendra, was very quick to come to the local media and say that he tried to give this a communal spin, calling this an issue of Hindu-Muslim rivalry. Home Minister Araga Gyanendra spoke to local media saying that the victim was unable to speak Urdu and that's why he was murdered by a Muslim. These are claims of your Home Minister. There are reactions to that as well. Let us first hear exactly what Araga Gyanendra said on that matter before I take you through the clarification that came in from the Karnataka Police Commissioner, Kamal Pant, who quickly put out a tweet saying this is not in fact, he clarified that first of all, that boy was not Hindu, he was Dalit Christian, and this issue was an issue of road rage entirely. It were two bikes that collided with each other and that led to quarrel, and because of quarrel, that boy Shahid stabbed the Dalit Christian Chandru on his leg, and this boy was rushed to the hospital and in fact he succumbed to his injuries. All those three accused have been arrested, but your Karnataka Home Minister never waited for a moment to clarify from the Police Commissioner of Karnataka to what exactly happened. Instead, he quickly jumped into giving this a communal color. Is this not instigating communal disharmony entirely? Instead of controlling law and order situation, you all are fanning it?
Pinto is there now.
Yeah,
you can ask him
Pinto
also. No, you can ask him also. Again, the commissioner has clarified that it was not because, it is because of the issue. There are certain issues because of that the killing has happened. It is, they have never said that it is because of Urdu or anything.
No. This is what your Home Minister said. Your Home Minister. Do we have Araga Gyanendra's bite? We have his bite. Let's play that for our viewers. Hold on for a moment.
No, I know.
ಚಂದ್ರು ಹತ್ಯೆ ಆಗಿದೆ. ನಾನು ಮಾಹಿತಿ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಉರ್ದು ಮಾತಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ಅವನಿಗೆ ಬರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಕನ್ನಡ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬೇರೆ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ ಅವನ್ನ ಚೂರಿಯಿಂದ ಚುಚ್ಚಿ ಕೊಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅಮಾನುಷವಾಗಿ ಕೊಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವನೊಬ್ಬ ದಲಿತ ಯುವಕ, ಬಹಳ ಅಮಾನುಷವಾಗಿ ಕೊಲೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಕೆಲವು ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗಳನ್ನು ಅರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಪೊಲೀಸರು. ತನಿಖೆ ಅದರ ಹಿಂದಕ್ಕೆ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ.
Well, there, Mr. Mohan, your Home Minister says the boy didn't know Urdu and therefore the Muslim boy killed him, and this is a case of Hindu-Muslim rivalry. Isn't this insinuous? Is this not instigating communal disharmony in a state which largely lived with peace and love? Nolan Pinto, you asked for. Nolan has joined us on this. Nolan, give us some clarity on this case. Why is Araga Gyanendra, the Home Minister of Karnataka, currently being trolled heavily?
Well, I'll tell what exactly happened. So after the incident took place, that is the reaction that he actually gave to the media. Immediately after that, a series of tweets in both English and in Kannada were put out by the Commissioner of Police. Now, after all this took place, the very next day, the Commissioner of Police, along with the DGP, in fact, what I'm hearing from our sources is that there's a tussle that's going on over here, and that's one of the reasons why they met the Chief Minister on Saturday. And finally, it has been decided today that this case will be handed over to the CID. In fact, the Chief Minister says that not the Home Department, not the Commissioner of Police, that's Bangalore, but let the CID, a third party, actually look into this so that an unbiased
but Nolan, speaking of the Home Minister's statement, was he not briefed initially when he spoke? When he gave this a communal color to this case, was he not briefed by the Police Commissioner? Why were there independent statements that came out?
Nabila, the information from our sources was that after this incident took place, the Home Minister was not briefed by the police. And that was the major issue. There is a problem which is going on here between the Home Minister and also the senior IPS officers who are not briefing the Home Minister. This is the crux of the problem that's being faced. And that's why the reason on Saturday, the Commissioner of Police as well as the DGP had a meeting with the Chief Minister in order to solve this issue. This is what is happening here as of now.
Very unfortunate. Mr. Mohan Krishna, this is your government. You all should have some kind of coordination. Jumping the gun and saying that this is Hindu-Muslim rivalry, this is communal murder, is that not instigating? You're already looking at such a sensitive atmosphere.
Nabila, why you are saying so? He didn't say that it is a Hindu-Muslim community. He did not instigate it for that. He said he got a message saying that because he did not speak Urdu. But later on, there were a lot of clarifications from our end.
So don't give a soundbite if you do not have clarification.
No clarifications from the commissioner side. I am talking about commissioner side.
Sir, your home minister is saying, I'm going to toss this to Aishwarya Mahadev. Aishwarya, your party has now raised this massive protest asking for the home minister to resign, for the chief minister to resign, saying that the Karnataka government is unable to handle law and order situation. We haven't seen you vehemently condemning. Even the Congress party has not really vehemently condemned these kind of communal attacks in the past. Little did we hear from the Congress party on the hijab issue at all. Now, as the elections pick up and it comes closer, we see the Congress party raising concerns over communal disharmony and asking and demanding for a resignation of the Home Minister. Give us an understanding, what is your campaign all about? We know the Youth Congress has been going big on protests asking for Gyanendra's resignation.
Good evening, Nabila. I think first and foremost that the Congress has been very vocal in terms of any of these issues, right? When it came to the hijab row, we said at the essence of all of this is the education of a girl child. No court or any government should be empowered to take that away. And we have spoken about it not only in session, but also outside. When it came down to halal, the azan row, even Muslim traders, Nabila, the singular fact remains that all of this has been and practice in Karnataka for decades. You and I have also been born and raised here, and we know exactly how it's practiced. To have it suddenly raked up and to be made an issue is obviously hinting at the BJP's hand in this. And it's extremely shameful that a responsible government of the day does not have answers to why they're doing this, and they will defend themselves even when the fringe elements run amok. It's almost like Mr. Bommai has no power. What is the fact that we're laying out here? The fact is, Karnataka, we pride ourselves on being, a Shantiya Tota for all Janangas, and this is what Kuvempu has said. But today the BJP, because development is so abysmal, you see that, the economic situation, price rise, all of these pressures growing on the BJP, they're resorting to their classic distractionary tactic. And Mr. Mohan Prakash, I most certainly do not envy him today to try and have to defend what Mr. Araga Gyanendra said, because he very clearly spoke about that Urdu boy and a Dalit boy because he couldn't speak Urdu, a Dalit boy being murdered. And today what you're seeing in Dharwad is exactly the failure of law and order. And also look at who an FIR has been filed against and who it has not. The Sri Ram Sene youth have openly come out and said, we are doing this, even though the temple premises and the temple authorities said this has been happening for decades. The government and the police are just standing there doing absolutely nothing. It is a shame. And today Karnataka and Kannadigas hang their head in shame that this is the government that has brought us to this level. Mr. Mohan,
but as much as you're condemning what happened in Dharwad, what we saw in Kolar was as unpleasant. We saw a Ram Navami procession. Why was there no condemnation coming in from the Congress on that? We hear that some of the people of the minority communities pelted stones at that procession that was being carried out, a Ram Navami procession. That's also instigating. Why not speak on those lines as strongly?
Mr. Mohan Prakash, please wait. It's your turn. So you can talk or you give us your diatribe again. Nabila, even with the incident in Kolar, I was on air yesterday. You also see what my leadership has said. A crime is a crime no matter what, which faith, which religion, which denomination is obviously come into play. And I've also categorically stated that this is a failure of law and order. This is not about arrest post fact. This is about ensuring or having enough intelligence or even doing enough recce to know that this is obviously a procession going through.
Nabila, I think I have to come in now.
Sir, please, sir.
Sir, I'll come to you, sir. Just give me 30 seconds. We'll complete this and then I'll come to you.
Singular fact is we have strongly condemned it. The Congress party unequivocally stands for the fact that all in society are one, irrespective of caste, creed and religion. And we have condemned what happened yesterday. We have condemned what happened in Dharwad. We have condemned the idea of Muslim traders being pushed out of these areas. We have condemned this idea, this fake news of fruit vendors, Muslim fruit vendors, fruits being abandoned. And we have categorically stood for it. While I want you to look at one thing, Nabila, go look at the BJP Karnataka handle where a picture of Jayanagar MLA Soumya Reddy praying to a constitution has been put out like it's a crime, saying, look, it's a Bible. And this is the communal BJP. This is a national handle. This is the handle of a state BJP. And if you have any doubt that they're not being communal.
All right, let's take Mohan on that. Sir, please go on. What would be your retort to that?
I
This
think
is your
Aishwarya-
government, all fingers pointed at you. How would you really shrug off this allegation of being a communal, of a government who's not trying to ensure communal harmony in the state, rather instigate it? What would be the justification at all?
Come on, Nabila. Straight away I will say that this is false allegations by the Congress spokesperson Aishwarya Mahadevan. First thing, who has made the rule in 2002 for the Temple Act in the Mujrai department? Who has passed the act? Who was there in the power then? Congress was in power. You are blaming now us? You have done. You have fooled your minority people by saying that without showing all these things. Today you are saying to the people that, come on, don't show your face like that. I can understand. It's your mistake, your Congress mistake. Mr. Siddaramaiah has got one agenda to appease Muslims. Why he is not talking about Hindus? When Harsha was killed, who has gone? Congress leaders, who has gone there and consulted?
Aishwarya, there seems to be much support and rallying around Muslims and the protection of Muslims by the Congress. But when a Hindu is targeted, when Muslims are trying to monopolize a trade, like for example the fruit business, as accused by the Hindus, the Muslims have monopolized the fruit business, there is nobody coming to the rescue of Hindus. Why does not the Congress stand up for the Hindus equally?
Nabila,
They will not stand.
Okay, Mr. Mohan Prakash, 1 second. You know, Nabila, when he talks about this 2000...
I'm not Mohan Prakash.
Sir, 1 second. Hold on. The very singular fact is, whether you're talking about the 2002 rule or whatever it is, who has the authority to obviously ask these traders to move away? It has to be the temple authority, or it has to be a stipulated authority under the government or the act. Who are the people who are vandalizing these shops? When the temple committee had no problem about this man selling his fruits there, it was the Sri Ram Sene and a fringe element that came and threw him out, which is extremely shameful. And the second thing is, Nabila, nobody,
You're talking about law and order?
Sir, please don't
I barely have any time here, but without going to past history, looking at the current situation, it leaves us really, really worried about the future of Karnataka. We're really looking at
No, nothing to worry, Nabila. You are from Karnataka.
reaching a brink of communal riots. That's the situation that we see here. We do not want that to happen. Look at the classic example. Gujarat is a BJP state, Mr. Mohan Krishna. Gujarat is a BJP state. We saw I read a very lovely article coming from Gujarat today on how temples in Gujarat invited a bunch of Muslims to come and open their Ramzan Roza fast at the temples. This is the kind of country we are. This is the kind of country we want to be. We want to have secular harmony, communal harmony. Why does Karnataka have to be?
We do have that. It is not just...
It always was. It always was. But looking at the situation unfolding in Karnataka over the last few weeks, we are really left worried. But Mohan Krishna and Aishwarya, thank you very much, along with Nolan Pinto, for giving us that insight. We're looking at elections in Karnataka, barely 11 months away. And this kind of communal situations and tensions really leaves us immensely worried. We're going to continue keeping the spotlight on that.